Hey guys, Sebchoof here. I wanted to make a reaction video to the newest producer's letter for Realm of the Mad God. Before I do get into that though, I'd like to give a big thank you to my patrons. We have here ZJ Thunder, Sparking AC, Boomboxy, MC Draft, and the biggest thanks goes to Eraser, of course. So here we have the newest producer's letter from Deca Games. Let me just make this a bit smaller to make it perfect. Perfect, great. Alright, so this has been pretty exciting because there's a lot of changes they're announcing for the future. The overall vision is quite interesting. I saw some really cool things, some maybe not so cool things, so we'll try to react and make an impact if we can. So skip, yep, 03, yep, changes, yep, Modifier, yep, cool, great. Alright, now here we go. Wait, where does it start with the newer stuff? Alright, here we go. So here's where it begins with the future changes. There's some here that have like already been in development. Like for example, as you might have noticed recently, we introduced some new tools to fight bots. So yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot less bots around. And now it seems like they're amping it up as much as they can. We also increased our efforts to fight cheaters. With the new release of Unity, we introduced some new tools, blah, permanently banned, blah, blah. We have recently changed our policy to apply a permanent ban after the first violation of our TUS. About time. Good work. Other things that our design team is currently working on are some big balancing changes for many items, and some tweaks to Crystal Caven. So the balancing tweak for items is really good. There's actually been some spoilers for some, they seem to be reworking Rei Katana and Keijiboshi in the future, as well as some 03 items to bring down the power. I'm really happy with all of those because 03 items are way too powerful. The dungeon was supposed to be a lot harder to access for how strong the items are, hence the power of them. But yeah, it seems like 03s are way too easy to get into, I think. And it should be. Like, I think the 03 items should just be less in power, and 03 should be not so much of a pain to get into. But yeah, the item balancing is also really cool. But with the Crystal Cave tweaks, I don't know how I feel about this, because every single time they tweak an Exaltation dungeon, they always make it easier, which kind of like dilutes the challenge in the game, which makes it less interesting. Okay, only one time when they made an Exaltation dungeon harder is when they made you not be able to use abilities during Celestial phase and Oryx free. You used to not get silenced during that phase, but now you do. But they did make it easier because they reduced the radius of the lightning in Oryx free, in, for example, the Luke Oryx and Oryx free boss fight, to more fit the indicators, which is what they should have done from the beginning, because people just died to bullshit. But it did make it a lot easier because that was a very common killer there. And then it says, also we have plans for the assassin. As it is time we bring him back to the spotlight. We hope soon we will be able to share more details. So this is pretty cool because assassin has always been a class where it's been, I wouldn't say there's no weak classes in Realm of the Mad God right now. Everything's so power creeped to craziness, but assassin has always been like a class that's awkward to play. So it's good if they change that because it will make it more enjoyable and a more popular pick. In the meantime, our development team is working on big changes on the server side, which should improve the performance of our game and also significantly improve the security, working on measures against duping and enabling us to open trading to more items than the ones we currently have. So that kind of hints at UT trading in the future, which is really exciting, or maybe trading the higher tiered items as well. Now let's move to the big guns. The next big release coming up this year is Month of the Mad God, planned for August. As we already mentioned, we are currently working on a rework of Shadows, which we are very excited about. Blah blah, it's no secret that the Shadows is an extremely polarizing dungeon for a long time. That's so true. Like, people either love it or hate it. There's like no in between. I think the more pro players the more better players like the shadows, because it's really fun to rush and kill the switches. And also, I think some people are a fan of how stupid the boss fights are, like you can just abuse the safe spots. But I think ultimately it would be the best for the game if the clearing isn't as cringe as it is, and also you're not able to abuse the safe spots, like the boss fights become more interesting. So I hope that happens. I just hope they keep the switch rushing aspect to it, because that's a lot of fun. And here's a bit of a sketch of what the map of Shadows is going to look like. So yeah, pretty interesting. I think it's really cool. Alright, here's the next big change that they're announcing. It says, but that's not all that we've planned for RotMG. We are working on 2 completely new mechanics for the game. The Enchantment System will take your gear to next level, equip items, and have a probability of dropping with enchantments. Enchantments are a bit of a staple in RPG. They allow you to customize your gear to levels beyond imagination. You will be able to personalize your favorite sword or armor and have it be really unique. There will be many enchantments, some of them more generic, others more specific to unique item types. So I think this is really cool. I think it will be better for the game if they make it that items drop with enchantments instead of you be able to add them on, or maybe a mixture. But the reason why the first thing would be cooler is that it will be nice from the very early parts of the game if items have differentiation to them, instead of have to reach like a end game level where you see the difference in items that drop. Also, if it drops with the enchantment, instead of being able to put it on, it kind of adds more, what's the word? It kind of adds more variety in the game and like more of a grind, because you'd have to like farm for the white bag, but also farm for the enchantment with the white bag, if that makes sense. But in the end, I think they should have both. Like the items do drop with them, but you'll be able to change them in the future as well. Here's some example of some. Bonus to attack 1 plus 1% plus 3%, bonus to whiz, blah blah, bonus to bit, blah blah blah. Lifetime of this weapon's projectile increased by 25 to 35%, blah blah blah. Yeah, these are all really cool. One big concern I have with this though is it's another level of power creep. I should make a video about power creep in the future. But yeah, there's just been so many ridiculous instances of power creep in this game. The only time that there's been a reverse power creep is when pets were nerfed, but there's been so many instances where the power of players have been brought up, and the issue of that is it just steamrolls the game, which can make it really disinteresting for some players, especially when you reach an endgame level. If you watch my streams, whenever I do a key dungeon with my friends, you just see everything get steamrolled, and every boss gets like so killed so fast that it gets pushed to the next shielded phase, if that makes sense, each time. So like the boss never attacks. Also, we try to have lore as an increasingly important part of our design philosophy. I can't speak today, fuck. The story of the heroes of the Nexus is about to take a steep turn. Oh my god! New actors will soon make their entrance on the stage. Wow, crazy. On a different note, you might have noticed one of our vision pillars for 2021, increasing variety. Variety is important to us, and the direction towards which we want to move realm. We really want to make each run unique while being faithful to the core of the game, you know. That's why enchantments are only the first step towards that, and for sure not the only one. Interesting. Alongside it, we are working on a dungeon modifier system. This will allow each dungeon instance to have unique perks that alter slightly or profoundly how it's played. For example, we could have different versions of Lost Halls where the enemies are harder and tougher, or easier and less frequent. Or what about a dungeon where the water is lava and the possibilities are endless. In general though, the powerful dungeon modifier a dungeon has, the better rewards it will provide. Then it also says, though both systems have a random nature, we also believe in leaving room for players to control this randomness to a degree. So both systems, enchantments and dungeon modifiers, will have ways for you to decide how much risk for an appropriate reward you want to go through. You can plan your gear, your runs, and have some agency on how you want to play and evolve your characters. So before we continue, let me comment on what I think about the dungeon modifiers thing. I'm really not too much of a fan of it for a few reasons. I think the good thing about it is it does increase dungeon variety. I mean, it could be cool, especially for players that just grind the game. I think this changes, this would only be bad for like, only bad for like the end game players, like the ones that like rush Lost Halls and stuff like that. Because say if you're used to fighting a boss solo, or you're used to rushing a dungeon, you're really used to all of the damage numbers that the enemies have. But say, like, for example, they just throw in, like, extra... enemies have, like, a 30% damage increase. It just, like, it would throw you off so much. Like, it's built into my subconscious how to rush Lost Halls and how to do certain bosses. But now, like, it would be cool if the dungeons, like, the enemies have new attacks. But, like, to increase the damage that enemies do, I think it's just too, like... it's just too forced and it would throw a lot of players off. Another problem that I have with this is, like, if every dungeon isn't the same, it kind of kills speedrunning in this game, which is a very niche part of this game, very, very, very niche, but it's a part that I'm really interested in, so I hope that it doesn't get impacted too much. Like, I hope that there's still an easy option for you to be able to run the default version of the dungeon. But ultimately, I think this does make the game more interesting. Though I think it would be better if the dungeons like are redesigned to have extra elements in them that randomizes inside the dungeon. Like, for example, one of the biggest changes between Lost Halls 1.0 and Lost Halls 2.0 is that the rooms have like different floors inside them. Like, some have the void water, some have the pillars, some have the towers with each different status effect. I think they should do that instead of like forcing this randomness factor. That just increases monsters' damage, and yeah. Overall, we firmly believe that these systems will have some freshness to Realm and its already great replayability factor. Blah 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 blah. Yep, great. Let me see. But Modifier is not the end of the year, and a new class, a Realm rework, and a brand new battle pass, and more quality of life features are only some of the things that our design and development teams have on their hands right now. Damn. That's really cool. I think no one can argue with all three of these, or all four of these. I think they're all positive changes for the game. And some of them you can definitely expect still in 2021. And let's not forget about all the amazing projects coming from our UGC members. Blah 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 blah. Oh yeah, there's one cool other thing that I remember. Okay, this whole paragraph is really important because two groups of players have a massive issue of getting into Realm. Like, people can't stream it, and new players have the hardest time getting into this game. So it says, in 2021 and 2022, we are not slowing down. We want to make the game cleaner, user-friendly, and even more engaging, so that at some point after over 10 years... Wait, after over 10 years? Okay, I really hope it doesn't take them 10 years to do this, but it says we will be confident to present our game to new users and expand the Realm community. So buckle up, guys, because Realm is thriving more than ever, and who knows, maybe one day even those gamepad users will be able to play this great game on their TV screens. So yeah, it's cool that they're making this game more open and accessible to a lot of players, because right now this game is a really niche game that appeals to masochists, basically, in my opinion, like myself. Because not only is the game really punishing, but it's also really hard to get into because of the technical side of things. I mean, it always has been because of Flash, but it's getting a lot easier, and even easier now, thanks to, like, for example, the bot changes, the changes to cheating, anti-cheating, and more. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I really want to make more discussion videos like this, especially for big announcements and changes like this. If you guys have any suggestions in the comments or anything like that, I'd be more than happy to take them on. So make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment, give me some nasty comments please, and yeah, I'll probably be, like, when you watch this video, I'll be most likely streaming because I've been streaming so often recently, so make sure to check if I'm live in the link below. But yeah, peace, have a good one.